and welcome to News Now. I'm your host, Taylor Inman. We're going over the week's biggest headlines for Northwest Montana. Politicians across Montana are mourning the shooting death of conservative activist Charlie Kirk at a Utah college campus on Wednesday. Kirk was best known as the co-founder of Turning Point USA, a nonprofit focused on engaging young people in right-wing political action. He was also an outspoken ally of many of Montana's top Republican politicians. Governor Greg Gianforte said, quote, "I've known Charlie since he was a teenager. He was at my home in Bozeman last summer. He's a friend," end quote. All four members of Montana's federal delegation dedicated social media posts to Kirk's death, calling him a friend, a good man, and a patriot, and a tireless defender of our First Amendment rights. State Representative Braxton Mitchell, a Republican from Columbia Falls, described Kirk as not only a friend, but the person who inspired me to get into politics. After meeting Kirk at an event in 2018, Mitchell said he was recruited to be an ambassador for Turning Point USA, and Kirk later endorsed his bid for a seat in the State House of Representatives. Mitchell said, quote, "There's no other guy who can get young conservatives to get out there," adding that Kirk was among his favorite name drops for campaign literature and support lists. Beyond political endorsements, Turning Point USA has been known to fund conservative candidates for student government positions. The organization publishes watch lists that identify professors and public school boards that allegedly discriminate against conservative students and advance leftist propaganda in the classroom. But Kirk's legacy among conservative lawmakers is most closely linked to his regular appearance at political rallies and as the host of his daily podcast. Kirk often took controversial positions during these appearances. He was known to advocate against vaccine mandates during the COVID-19 pandemic and was openly critical of the Black Lives Matter movement. His visit to Utah Valley University on September 10th was part of a new speaking series titled The American Comeback Tour. Kirk was reportedly answering audience questions about mass shooters when he was struck in the neck by a single bullet, fired from about 200 meters away. President Donald Trump later confirmed Kirk's death via social media and ordered that all flags be flown at half-mast in commemoration. Mitchell said, quote, "All Charlie tried to do was advocate for free speech on college campuses, and that's what he died doing," end quote. But Mitchell was firm in his belief that Kirk was a target because of his far-right ideologies. He classified the killing as an act of political violence and linked Kirk's death to the assassination attempts against Donald Trump. But political violence has struck both sides of the aisle this year. A Democratic state lawmaker in Minnesota and her husband were fatally shot earlier in June in what U.S. District Attorney Joe Thompson called a political assassination. The torching of Pennsylvania Governor Josh Shapiro's residence in April has also been linked to political violence. Kirk was scheduled to speak at Montana State University in Bozeman on October 7th as part of his ongoing speaking tour. The event would have been his fourth known public engagement in the Treasure State. Kirk spoke at Montana State University in 2019 and at an event for the Flathead County Republicans in 2020. Last year, Kirk hosted a political rally at the University of Montana in support of Republican Senator Tim Sheehy's campaign. A boy told jurors in Butte Silver Bow District Court on Tuesday that Jami James sexually assaulted him on 2 occasions when he was 8 years old and James was his youth hockey coach. The boy said one assault took place at a hotel in Butte where a hockey camp was being held, and the other happened at James's house in Flathead County. He said there were other boys in the rooms at the time, and when he tried to scream during the first incident, James covered his mouth and shushed him. The boy said he did scream the second time, but James quickly covered his mouth. Defense attorney Lane Bennett noted through questions during cross-examination the other boys were in the rooms, but apparently no one woke up, even when he got a scream out. The boy, now 13 years old, briefly described the assaults, but Bennett pressed him for more details, many that he could not provide. James went on trial Monday for allegedly raping that boy and 2 others in Butte and Flathead County between 2019 and early 2021. Prosecutors say the boys were 8 or 9 years old at the time and were participants in private hockey programs run by James. James told police he never sexually abused children and could not think of a motive behind the accusations, but he has said he is a biracial man and told detectives after his arrest that he feels that he is constantly attacked due to his race. James, now 50 years old, is charged with 6 counts of sexual intercourse without consent, a felony charge in Montana that usually involves alleged penetration by an object or body part. James pleaded not guilty in April of 2023 to 2 counts filed in Butte Silver Bow County, 5 days after he pleaded not guilty in Kalispell to 4 rape charges in Flathead County. Each count carries a maximum sentence of 100 years in prison. The 6 counts were combined into one case that is being tried in Butte this week, with District Judge Robert Whelan presiding. Jury selection took all day Monday, so Tuesday began with opening arguments. Prosecutor Stephanie Robles told jurors that James seemed like a gift to hockey in Montana by coaching young boys, traveling with them, and taking them camping. She continued, saying, quote, "But no one knew what was happening behind closed doors. No one knew the defendant had a dark and horrifying secret," end quote. She said all 3 boys would testify about the assaults and would all say that James covered their mouths so they could not cry out. Scott Hilderman, another defense attorney for James, told jurors that James had coached 10,000 kids over the past 30 years, and until 2 years ago when this case began, not once did any of them make sexual assault claims. He said prosecutors had no physical evidence, no search warrants were ever conducted, no computers were examined, and no camp counselors or other kids in the hockey programs were interviewed. The charges in Flathead County stem from alleged sexual assaults of 2 boys at James's Columbia Falls home and during a camping trip at the Hungry Horse Reservoir in 2020. Prosecutors in Butte Silver Bow say one of those victims was also assaulted by James at a Butte hotel. A 3rd boy saw a newspaper article and photo about James' arrest in early February 2023 and told his parents 2 days later, "I think JJ did that to me." Authorities believe it occurred at a different hotel in Butte, leading to the 2nd charge there. The one boy who testified Tuesday said he eventually told his mother what happened. He said he also told a friend that was in the hockey program with him, and he had said that James had done the same thing to him as well. The Montana Attorney General's office is trying the case, and their team also includes prosecutor Kelly Fivey and paralegal Megan Schlecknoff. The trial is expected to last through this week. Thanks for that reporting from Mike Smith at the Montana Standard. And a motorist involved in an alleged drunk driving crash that left a teenager dead in Whitefish last month pleaded not guilty this week to 1 count of negligent homicide. A defense attorney representing 20-year-old Andrew Sullivan of Marion entered the plea before Judge Heidi Ulbricht in Flathead County District Court on September 4th. Ulbricht set an omnibus hearing in the case for November 19th and a pretrial hearing on January 9th. Sullivan was held in the county detention center on $250,000 bail following the fatal August 23rd wreck, but was later released that month after posting bond. Prosecutors charged Sullivan with the felony after Montana Highway Patrol troopers responded to a crash at Mountain Meadow Road and Tally Lake Road at about 1:53 a.m., according to court documents. A trooper found a damaged Dodge Ram pickup on the northbound embankment and a 17-year-old girl dead on the ground next to the truck. 2 males were also present. The trooper identified Sullivan as the driver of the pickup and noted his eyes appeared watery and glossy, according to charging documents. Sullivan allegedly told the trooper that the teen girl had fainted while riding in the back with another passenger, which distracted him. He said he had begun to slow down when the pickup left the road. Sullivan denied consuming alcohol or drugs and said he believed a bottle of vodka allegedly found in the truck was water, according to court documents. A preliminary breath test allegedly showed Sullivan with a blood alcohol concentration of .057. Sullivan later consented to a blood draw, which was sent to the Montana State Crime Lab. During the investigation, the trooper allegedly found empty alcohol containers, a glass jar of marijuana, and a bottle of vodka in the vehicle. A large pool of blood was observed near the rear passenger door, but no blood was found inside the truck. Sullivan was sentenced in a separate DUI case just 5 days earlier, according to court filings. He was previously cited for driving under the influence in May by the Kalispell Police Department. Thanks for joining us. News Now is a podcast from the Daily Interlake. We're proud to be the largest independent newsroom in Montana and the longest continuously published newspaper in the region. Today's stories were written by Daily Interlake reporters Haley Smalley and Jack Underhill, as well as Mike Smith with the Montana Standard. If you haven't already, subscribe to our YouTube channel to never miss an episode of the pod. Everybody stay safe and have a great week. Thanks to our sponsor, Lauren's Auto Repair at 1309 U.S. Highway 2 in Kalispell. Most consistently rated 5-star shop serving the Kalispell area. Visit lawrensauto.com.